Okay, so here's my first go at what people are calling old man video vlog style. So I guess I'll be the old man here and make a vlog. And my first off, basically I can see the value in making some videos talking about different things. If for no other reason, if something happens to me, it would be great if some of the things that I think, or all, ideally all, but let's be realistic. I'm not going to get all of my thoughts out here on video. But if something were to happen to me, at least if no one else watches it, hopefully my children and maybe their children's children might take a look at it and find some value and be connected to me in some way through these videos. So, a thing that I was just thinking about, I decided to start my first video with, which is how retrospectively we really do end up becoming the things that we see. And what I mean by that is, uh, in particular, I'll use one example for myself that when I was a young teenager, meaning lower teens, like 14 below, 13, 14, I didn't really see a whole lot of people succeeding. Even my own father, he worked really hard. Everyone said how smart he is, but wasn't really succeeding in business and in life. And things seemed pretty much like you either were lucky or you weren't lucky. And whether you were smart or educated, if you worked hard, because he was a very hard worker, in fact, probably considered a workaholic. And there were times when he did pretty well, but it seemed like it was luck because it would come and go, and didn't seem to be based off of effort or value provided. So, or his own intelligence. He taught himself how to program computers and understood circuitry. He could design and build circuit boards, but for some reason it never translated into wealth. And most of the time, very little money at all. So, with that example and many others that I could see, it didn't seem that effort and intelligence was going to be rewarded, and I fell into you know not putting forth my best effort, not doing well in school, even though honestly school was fairly easy for me. And so I went down a whole other path. I was skipping school and uh, ended up getting kicked out of school just for being truant, just for basically being, I guess you could say, lazy. I mean, I was still doing things. I would be running around, but I wasn't just laying around doing nothing, but basically just not doing what I was supposed to be doing because I didn't think that it was going to pay off to put in the effort at school and go through what everyone else would tell you is the proper path to go. So I ended up getting a job working for a landscaper who had a nursery. He had a small nursery, and after meeting him and working for him for a short time, we were doing county weed abatement, and uh, that was my first job. And then later, he had me tending the nursery. But he had a pretty good life, and I could see how, you know what, it looked like you could work hard and it would be rewarded. And basically, you provide a service that other people want to pay you for is pretty basic. I mean, clearing weeds, growing plants is very straightforward. May not seem as lucrative, but he had a nice house. He was able to raise his family. He had nice cars, in my opinion. I mean, it certainly wasn't rich or anything, but to me, he seemed very, definitely at the next level from where I was coming from, and and so I could see a path forward. And as people say, you can't be what you can't see. So all of a sudden, my eyes were open to that, and honestly, that's probably about the life that I built for myself. Being a owner operator, small business. Uh, I'm a landscaper. I don't do the exact same services that he did, but he also bounced around from one type of service to another in the landscape industry. He had a small nursery. Uh, we did curb mate, so which is putting in the concrete curbing for bed edging. We did small landscape projects. He had a small gardening route and did the weed abatement, but all around it was just basically the care of plants, um, and so after seeing in my view, the success he had, um, even though later on, after I had started my own thing and moved on, I know he fell ill, and because it was a small business, which is like mine, I have the same, and which is my point, I have the same uh, weakness that his business had, which is if I fall ill, my business will disappear like his business disappeared. And so, and that's okay. I mean, he lived a great life and raised his family off of it. And and I've had a great life and been raising my family. So, getting closer to the point, say I had moved on from there to a larger company and worked for a large firm, then maybe my eyes would have been open to that and I would have built an actual big business rather than a small business that was reliant on me. And now with the internet, it's really amazing because we have this opportunity that everyone can peek into the lives and have their eyes opened. And over the past few years, after seeing other people openly talking about their businesses, their lives, and how they operate things, a lot of people have posted real numbers about how they grow their business, how businesses are run. I can see I can see the larger picture and that it is possible to do more. So, could I have done more? Over the years, I would have thought, oh, I couldn't have grown a large business without sacrificing time with my family, or, I needed this or I needed that. And yeah, somewhat that's probably true. But in the end, had I had I been exposed to someone who actually had built a large business, and maybe without sacrificing their family, I could have modeled after that. And of course, there's people out there who break the mold and they make their own model and they don't have to have someone else model it for them. Great for them, but most of us, we want to see a clear path forward. And and maybe we don't have to understand everything, but just knowing that it's possible, and knowing that it's possible to do a thing makes everyone knows that makes it easy. Everyone likes to talk about the 4 minute mile, so we all know the story. No one thought that you could physically do a 4 minute mile until it was done, and then months later, lots of people were doing it. People who previously couldn't do it, all of a sudden they could do it. So, so I'm sure that it could have been done, and so, oh well, you know, uh, not going to cry tears over what could have been. Life has been good, and since I'm not dead yet, the the way forward is still there, and I can still do that. I can still grow a large business, and the opportunity is there. And actually, I'm really grateful for that. I think this is a great time. because people have been sharing their stories and and their uh, their journey to build large businesses, and and so it's a lot easier now to see how to do what they've already done. And so many people have done it in so many different ways that if you would listen to all the stories and take the parts of them that might work for you, because maybe you don't want to do some of the things that some of them have done, and hopefully you piece it together in a way that that actually works, rather than taking all the easy parts and putting together something that's just going to fail because you're trying to take the easy path. But in the end, uh, mostly it was about retrospectively thinking how my life mostly has been built uh, without me consciously doing it, to mirror the successful people that I had seen when I was younger. And so, again, now with the internet, you can know people that you couldn't have known, and and model yourself after the ones that you would like to model yourself after. Uh, so that's it. And I guess until the next video, that's all.